Ready? Play.
Are we live? I think we are. A lot of people are here already. Usually it doesn't look like that, so I think we definitely are. Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, Stuttgart final. That's what we're going to be talking about. They're going to perform the coin toss right now, I think. Iga is still listening to some music on her headphones, but she has just taken them off. Sabalenka is already waiting at the net. So we're going to see what happens in terms of that. Yeah, they're just saying hello to some people. And of course, there's some ball kids, and they're going to perform the toss. Yeah, what we are watching here. Of course, today there's the big storyline of everyone trying to defend their title in two cases. So in Munich and Stuttgart, there's even a repeat of the same final. Rublev, of course, played Djokovic in Belgrade last year, but the same event just moved to Banja Luka. Now he plays. I'm forgetting Lajovic, of course. And also in Barcelona, Alcaraz played Carreño Busta last year. Carreño Busta wasn't even around because he's injured. And Tsitsipas is the new opponent. And we also have, of course, Rune van de Zandschulp in Munich. And here, Swiatek and Sabalenka, a repeat of the final from 2022. And what has to be said is that this final was very, very lopsided last year, 6-2, 6-2. Don't think we're getting something like that this year, right? That would probably surprise us a little bit. When it comes to the rivalry of Swiatek and Sabalenka, this is definitely something that we need to talk about. Apparently, only one player has 5 official WTA Tour wins over Sabalenka, and that's Kiki Bertens. And Iga can join her today because she's 4-2 up in that rivalry. And Sabalenka only won twice, both at the WTA finals. In 2021, of course, that wasn't really yet the Iga Swiatek that we got accustomed to in recent times. Sabalenka beat her 7-5 in the third. I think that was Iga only won one match in the group stage back then. I think that was when she was crying as well. So there was some mess with it. And then 5 meetings in 2022. 4 of them went Swiatek's way. 3 very, very straightforward: Doha, Stuttgart, and Rome. Then at the U.S. Open, we all remember Sabalenka was 4-2 up in the third set of the semifinal. Swiatek came back to win, and then the Belarusian got her at the WTA finals, which she lost. She lost in the finals to Karen Garcia, but that was a pretty big upset in the semis in Fort Worth. Since then, they also played in an exhibition event in December. Swiatek won easily. I'm not really gonna count this as any sort of indicator, especially with how good Sabalenka has been this year, right? So yeah, I'm not looking at it. Definitely not. But on clay, 2 meetings: 6-2, 6-1 for Swiatek in Rome, 6-2, 6-2 in Stuttgart. How does that bode for Sabalenka? Actually, not that poor, I think. We all know how Swiatek performed last year during the clay season, right? She was just unstoppable, 37 wins. 37 wins in in a row. I was just laughing because John said that he was going to put these comments on the TV for me to translate, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Pure prima transmisia tut. I think maybe it's about whether there was going to be the match was going to be shown here. It's not. We can't do that if I understood correctly. Anyway, 2 meetings last year on clay, but of course Sabalenka was not really in that sort of form, and also Swiatek was just unstoppable in that time of the year. Not really sure if this is what we're going to see this time. Swiatek is still the favorite, but probably out of all these 4 finals that we have today, she's like the one that can very possibly lose. It would simply be less of a shock if she lost compared to Rune Alcaraz and Rublev. When it comes to what they've been doing so far in this event, Sabalenka had a weaker match against Badosa, which she was set in a breakdown and then came back. But Krejcikova and Potapova, she just absolutely blew off the court. Someone in the comments yesterday, I think maybe it was Ghosty, was talking about her not really saying that she doesn't really enjoy these Stuttgart courts, which is a bit weird to me, frankly. because well, she made the finals in 2021, she made the finals in 2022, and just for her brand of tennis, having that sort of quick clay but still a bounce that is very comfortable for her, I think they actually suit her very, very well. So I'm kind of surprised by that statement from her, especially as she's been doing so well in this event too. It's of course the first clay event of 2022 for Sabalenka. Świątek won the toss and chose to serve, by the way. And when it comes to Świątek, she's coming back after a rib injury that made her lose. Maybe that's a stretch, but definitely impacted her in the Indian Wells semi-final against Elena Rybakina. We don't know what would have happened without it, but of course Rybakina was absolutely amazing. And she decided to skip Miami, rest up for the clay season. I think we can already say that it was a good decision, right? I mean, even if she was the defending champ, she clearly needed some sort of a break, and so far she has been looking rejuvenated in Stuttgart. Just like Sabalenka, just one set lost so far. She lost to Pliskova in the opener in the quarters. But well, after that, she was just cleanly better. She's just moving amazingly well on these slick indoor courts in Stuttgart. This was a big difference between her and Zheng. This was a big difference between her and Pliskova. She has been serving quite well as well, which is the big part of the game that Świątek would need to improve. There are a lot of signs this year that she has started doing that compared to 2022, and for a long while it was just stale, and it seemed like there was no progress with it whatsoever. And yeah, and in the semifinals we didn't get much info because Ons Jabeur was basically, I don't know if she already had this issue coming onto the court, but she had something with her calf and had to retire after 3 games. So it was just a very quick showing. Nothing really we can take away from it. Iga seemed to have a pretty quick start. Like she punished Jabeur instantly for whatever was happening to her, but we cannot really say that it was any sort of performance because it was just 3 games. But let's start this match now. And as I said earlier, Świątek won the toss, chose to serve. She wants to get a hold early, and we'll see if she succeeds in that. The big storyline as well here is that this is their first match of 2023. And like, if we want to say who's the best player in the world right now, we would probably be thinking of either these two or Elena Rybakina. And I'm assuming that most would still be thinking about these two, the world number one, and the champion of the Australian Open, an absolutely dominant force on the tour this year, Sabalenka has been. So is this final a chance for us to sort of answer that question? I don't think so. One match probably shouldn't really decide it. But it's certainly going to give us some sort of an insight into where they are ahead of the clay season. If Sabalenka is going to cause serious issues to Świątek on clay, her best chances are in Stuttgart and Madrid, for sure. Rome and Roland Garros, you would expect Iga to have some sort of an upper hand. But with the sort of tennis that Sabalenka has been playing this year, who knows? And speaking of just insane winners from the Belarusian, she just finds a great forehand on the line. Iga comes in to check the mark, but she just covers it because it was clearly in. Yeah, I still, as I said a couple of minutes ago, I don't really get why the surface would be poor for Sabalenka. We could see it right here that the ball, even though it's faster, it still kind of sits up on the court like it does on clay, and she has the ability to generate insane power out of everything. And yeah, I actually think maybe this could even be better for her than some hard courts, frankly. But well, a matter of opinion, I guess. She knows best. But yeah, Sabalenka is going for a three-peat of runner-up appearances here. She lost to Ashley Barty in 2021. World number one back then? I'm not sure, but she was definitely the world number one at the end of 2021. Maybe Osaka was still number one back then. And Świątek in 2022 was already number one and also finished number one. So definitely Sabalenka has just lost to some very powerful opposition here. Both times she was in the finals, and here she again faces someone who, well, is the world number one right now. I'm not sure if she's going to finish world number one. No one really knows that at this point. Was Barty number one in 2021 already? I think she might have been. She was definitely the top seed in Stuttgart in May, so probably she was. Um, so definitely not an easy final opponent for Sabalenka again. But maybe finally she's gonna get over that final hurdle in Stuttgart. And she's also moving very well on these courts, as we could just see in this rally. Eventually doesn't get the backhand on the slide, but clearly she's also quite comfortable in her movement here, which not for every single player. It hasn't been true for every player. In 2021, Sabalenka lost the final to Barty, taking a set, but then winning just three games in the next two. But beat Halep along the way, beat Kontaveit, and last year she had wins over Badosa, Kontaveit again, Andrescu, and this time, of course, Potapova, Badosa, Krejcikova. Very strong run so far. Krejcikova, one of the best players of the year by a country mile for sure. Potapova, potentially one of the next players to break into the top 10. We'll see. And of course, Badosa is definitely doing quite well right now after the Australian Open, which she had to miss due to an injury. But she has managed to pick up her game very well. Maybe hasn't really had the big result yet, uh, because she lost in the quarters in Charleston to Jabeur, but also now lost in quarters to Sabalenka in Stuttgart. But she's clearly one of the best players in the world right now as well, especially on clay courts. Sabalenka starts her first game of the match with a huge serve and then just picks up the backhand put away. So far, so good after the first point. Huge return from Swiatek, though, comfortably into her strike zone, but also just got very good timing and depth on it, and Sabalenka nets the return. One of the main characteristics, sort of the Porsche Stuttgart Open is, of course, the or Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, I think it's now called, is of course the cars that we can see all the time in our view. The winner will drive away from Stuttgart in this car. Of course, not literally, but one of the prizes is the car. Last year, I remember during the trophy ceremony, Sabalenka was definitely quite unhappy to not to get it. But well, she has the chance to do it again. I mean, to do it again, to do it for the first time on her third attempt. Another huge hit that Swiatek just cannot really get to. Yeah, you can see how much despite the quicker surface, because it's probably the quickest indoor court on the tour, at least on the women's side, I would assume. It's definitely more unique than Madrid, and you can see that it still kind of sits up in the air though, and I think Sabalenka will really like it here. Could be an issue for someone who's struggling to inject pace just of a neutral ball, but definitely not the case for Sabalenka, and not the case for Swiatek either, of course. 2 game points for Sabalenka now after a great serve. This one is long though. We'll see how she handles what might be her first point on second serve, I think, or maybe there was one already. Maybe it is. Maybe it is her first. Good return from Swiatek gives her the advantage in the point, and she just easily cleans it up. Probably quite hard on this surface, I imagine, to change directions, and these sort of shots, behind the player, contre-pied, if you want to say it in French, against the feet out is like the literal translation. These sort of shots are definitely very effective here, and just a safe way to to clinch this point, which was won by Swiatek's big backhand return. She might have a chance to go at Sabalenka's serve again, as it's the second delivery once more. She does precisely that, but Sabalenka is this time not really rushed, but she makes an unforced error, and out of an easy hold, we are now at deuce. 2 points earned by Swiatek through huge returns, and now just this one unforced error from Sabalenka make this first game of the match on the Belarusian serve very interesting. That's another brilliant return at Sabalenka's feet, but this time she takes it nicely on the half volley and just misses the backhand down the line. Not really tuned in yet, although she had a couple of huge winners already. This time she handled that deep return very, very well, but just had this sort of opportunity that she usually takes, that she needs to take. That's just her game, and just missed it. So we've got the first breakpoint of the match. Looking for that big serve Sabalenka will be, and will she find it? Not really. You can see that Swiatek is already standing very close to the baseline, probably gonna try to take the backhand return early, assuming it goes to her backhand, because that's where Sabalenka so far has been serving on the second serve. Not this time though. And it was probably a good choice because she wasn't really the control over the point wasn't really with either player for the first few shots. And this time it's Swiatek who makes the error, kind of on the verge of being forced and unforced, with just how strong that Sabalenka forehand down the middle was. And this serve should set up the point for Sabalenka. It was a bit of a risk to go at Swiatek there because, well, you still give her some sort of a chance in such case, but I think a bad bounce just completely stole any chance to take this point from Swiatek. But if it was, of course, unlikely she would win it anyway, was going to be an all or nothing counter in any case. So Sabalenka has a chance to clinch that game and just set herself up for a decent start to the match, and that's not what she did yet because the serve is out. She asks the chair umpire to confirm, but I'm assuming that it's she already sees it as well. So it's gonna be a second serve now. She kind of destroyed her rhythm with this, but of course, if she was right, then the payoff was pretty huge, and in that the game would have already been secured. We'll see how she handles that second serve now, while not having the rhythm after hitting her first. It's a great second serve. Oh wow. And it creates that back and down the line opening that she is again willing to take, just like 2 games ago, just like 2 points ago. But this time she actually makes it, and it's just impossible to get to a ball like that. Great second serve. This is, of course, one of the conversation topics around Sabalenka this year, right? That she basically, the second serve issues can sometimes come back, but it's just so much more effective, and she can actually blast through it right now, which is pretty rare, I would say, even on the WTA tour. Not many players have this sort of ability to just completely flatten out their second serves and still be consistent with it. So, from a liability, it turned into a big asset, at least in most matches. It's actually kind of hard to find a better second serve on the WTA tour right now, frankly. Most of them are just rolling the ball in. Maybe some have good kicks, but that sort of power along with placement, of course, in pressure moments, that also tends to go away. That's completely normal, right? Swiatek won the first point of this third game with a good serve. Now she just rolls in the second and has Sabalenka on the move, but they're gonna trade some big blows down the middle now. The quality of Swiatek's movement letting her survive. That's some great angle play from Sabalenka, and she opens up the court for herself for a forehand winner. There was a very surprising short-angled backhand here from Sabalenka, which essentially won her the point. She still had to perform 3 more great shots to get it eventually, but that was what just really got Swiatek out of position, and a very good hit because you could see um, that wasn't really mishit or anyway or anything. It was just straight up deliberate to try to go for something like that. Very tough to do technically as well. Matthew says, "Oh wow, match started already. Is there a full house in the crowd?" I'm not sure, frankly. I mean, I mostly see this camera. The TV view. From what I can see, it seems like there are a lot of people. Yeah. Maybe we're gonna get some more shots of that when during the breaks or something. Yeah, quite early, 1 p.m. for that Stuttgart final. As in the previous days, they seem to be starting a bit later, but that was also because they sometimes had like a doubles match early, right? In the last 2 days, I think the singles started like at 2 p.m. But of course, today doubles is simply after the singles. Net court by Sabalenka on the return, but Swiatek just is very dynamic into her backhand down the line and doesn't give the Belarusian a chance. And let's see if Swiatek is going to be cleaner about taking this game than Sabalenka. Whoa, she had a nice opening for an inside-out backhand winner. Of course, a very tough shot to make, but just completely mishits it. So still one more game point. So no, the alarm bells are not ringing just yet. Definitely not. And let's see that next point for the 30 Świątek. They're now exchanging some great backhands cross court, and Sabalenka, even though she's out of balance, she finds a backhand winner down the line. Świątek was clearly thinking that it wouldn't go in. I can't really blame her, but it just finds the line. Great hit. Not sure if Świątek would have, would have won the point if she wasn't just trying to sort of get into the role of an umpire here and trying to judge whether it would go in or not. But still a fantastic strike from the Belarusian. And now Świątek gets her on the run, big backhand down the line, and just cleans it up easily. Had to be very cautious there not to touch the net on the slide, but she does just that. Yeah, so far, I mean, this is delivering. Honestly, some absolutely insane quality. Of course, as violent as you would expect from both players, and just the crisp ball striking from both is just absurd so far. Yeah, you could see here that she still wasn't that close to the net, so it was controlled. One more game point for Świątek. Can she be can she get a lead again? And we remember that she chose to serve first, so definitely wanted to have that sort of advantage from the very beginning. And she does just that as Sabalenka mistimes that forehand, and she's 2-1 up. Świątek is, I mean, 18 minutes so far, and really the quality has been off the charts. But as we said, that's probably the best two players in the world right now, right? Very possibly the best two players in the world right now. So we weren't really expecting anything different, right? We were probably that's what we were hoping for, and that's what we're getting so far. I also see some news that Sinner has withdrawn from Madrid, but is that haven't I seen this like an hour ago? Maybe I have. Maybe I'm talking about something else. Maybe someone else had withdrawn. No, I've definitely seen it like an hour ago. So I don't know why there are just 10 accounts on my timeline, on my Twitter timeline right now screaming breaking. You're not breaking anything, so stop. But anyway, if you haven't heard yet, Yannick Sinner withdrew from Madrid. And Aryna Sabalenka will now serve to try to get it back to 2-all. Clearly, we can see that this is very unlikely to be a 6-2 like last year. She's just far too good for that at the moment. But it's not like Swiatek is, anything. If you showed me this match, I wouldn't tell you it's not the same player who won 37 matches in 2022. Frankly, at least in this first three games, but also in how she played so far. She has been just excellent in this event, and keeping that up for now. Yeah, first point of the game goes to Swiatek, and maybe there's going to be some pressure on the word number 2. But she easily cleans this up with a big serve, so back at level. As we said, this is probably the best two players of the world right now, so we were expecting high quality. Hopefully, this continues as long as this match will be. An interesting fact about Swiatek's 2023 so far has been that she has only played one three-set match, and it was against Karolina Pliskova in the quarterfinals here, which is kind of wild after over 20 matches, right? But that probably tells us two things. When she wins, it's super easy a lot of the time, right? And when she loses, she has also been sort of checking out even mentally sometimes, um, and also had some mitigating circumstances in most of these. So yeah, just kind of interesting that she either loses into or wins into. But she managed to come back against Pliskova and didn't really give her a chance in sets 2 and 3. So it looks like this game is also going to be quite comfortable for Sabalenka after all. The first point was quite scary for her, I guess, but right now she just finds another backhand +1 down the line, and Swiatek cannot put it back in play. It was pretty close though. Sorry. She opened up the court for herself with that serve, but didn't quite capitalize on it. Still has the advantage though, but maybe not anymore. Swiatek now finding some great backhands. The quality of the hitting again is just absurd. But this backhand down the line sails long from Swiatek, so we are quickly at 2-all. And let's see how the Pole is going to handle this service game. She has improved that definitely this year, as I was talking about, and so far in Stuttgart we have seen it. Probably gonna wait for like because on clay last year, basically until Garcia played her serve wasn't really an issue. And but if it is going to be an issue on clay, then it's probably Stuttgart or Madrid. And sort of right on cue, Sabalenka finds a huge backhand return and cleans up the response. And even when she has like an easier ball, she's still going for it. She is just absolutely crushing it with all the power that she has. Probably screams a bit of confidence. First serve from Swiatek doesn't really give her that much again, but this forehand is out from Sabalenka. So far, it's really shaping up to be somewhat similar to how they played in the U.S. Open, where Sabalenka was the one like just really dictating the play, and Swiatek just tried to get by on the quality of her movement. And it seems like this one is going to be somewhat similar. Uh, Sabalenka is just hitting with such violence. Of course, it's not guaranteed to give her anything. It's such a risky style, and yeah, Swiatek is such a good defender as well, but that's how it kind of looks so far. Sabalenka is just taking anything she can down the line and crushing every single ball she can land the racket on without being on the defense herself. And yeah, again, right on cue, huge forehand down the line. She was in a very tough spot on the sort of on the move, but this just sets her up for an easy smash, and it's 2-1 up. Swiatek had some sort of a slip there, but it looks like she's fine. So no, nothing to worry about yet. In any physical sense for either player, which would be good because the semifinals yesterday were of course kind of underwhelming, but instead we're getting this final. And now a decent serve from Swiatek, 170 kilometers an hour, straight at Sabalenka, and she doesn't manage to get away from the ball. So 30 all. This sort of serve we're probably gonna see a lot, right? Flats down the middle, as both players actually are standing close to the baseline, trying to take returns early, even first serve returns. So this sort of serve we're probably going to watch quite a lot here. That's a fantastic forehand cross court counter from Swiatek. The ability to, of course, cover the court and move so well defensively sometimes also gives you these sort of opportunities, right? To be behind, to be in a defensive spot, and yet just absolutely surprise the opponent with some pace out of nowhere, and that's what she did here. No, pretty much no response from Sabalenka, and 40-30 now. Tried to go for another first serve down the middle, but this time Sabalenka finds a good return. Can't really hit through Swiatek just yet. Wow, that was insane. Oh, gee, and that was even better. Sabalenka just fired a huge forehand at Swiatek, which seemed to just bounce very low, but Swiatek still got it over the net. I imagine it must have been just flew over it. And it seemed like it was like the best shot ever, best shot in the rally. And then Sabalenka fires an even better forehand cross court, very short angled winner. Wow. Yeah, we like these sort of points when one player fires like something that seems like the best shot you've seen in the past 10 days, and then the other actually blasts something even better, right? So deuce now, Swiatek in a bit of trouble, but she gets out of it. Sabalenka doesn't connect with that backhand cross court. I think she's complaining about the bounce a little bit, looking at the court as if it did some harm to her. In a way, I guess it did, but still probably could have been a little better with the timing there. And we are at advantage Swiatek in this 2-all game. Can she clinch it right away? Well, not right away because we've already been on deuce, but she can. Another backhand unforced error from Sabalenka gives her the game. 3-2 up. So far, definitely very competitive, very high quality, as I mentioned a few times already. And I guess by that you know that it is really high quality when I just keep talking about it. But it is. Hopefully, you guys are also watching it. And John in the chat says something. Did you see Tsitsipas controversy yesterday retouching the ball? I did not. Oh, that he was laughing about that talking tennis exclusive. Yeah, Sinner withdraws to Madrid. Swiatek 59-41. Yeah, I would say so. It's probably more or less what the odds are as well. And that, yeah, a slight edge, but definitely not expecting Rome or Stuttgart from last year, right? And in the chat, and in the YouTube chat, it was also 57-43, which also is very close to that, right? And Sabalenka should have won that US Open match. Upper break in the third, yeah, absolutely. In general, at the US Open 2023, Swiatek had a lot of matches. She had like, if maybe no business winning is a stretch, but a lot of matches where she wasn't really at her best. The courts don't really suit her there any either. But I guess this is just, yeah, how good she moves, and sometimes she can snatch wins like that, like against Niemeyer and Sabalenka, and then you're in the finals, right? And then you just win it. So definitely quite an achievement there, I think. Perhaps even more impressive than her Roland Garros runs, because she wasn't crushing her opponents. She was really in trouble a lot of times, and yet managed to prevail, which is something that I guess her fans have sort of missed from her this year, right? Because there's been matches when she just wasn't fighting is a stretch, but there's definitely been matches she kind of checked out of mentally. This backhand on the run is out from Sabalenka though. Very similar to that point where Swiatek just tried to judge if it's gonna be in or not, and she wasn't right, but this time she is. So she starts this game with 1 point ahead, and as we know, on serve, losing your first point is actually very, very crucial, in that it brings down your chances of winning the points at the game at by like 20-25% in the women's game. So, but of course, these two can handle it. Swiatek is onto the second serve from Sabalenka early, but doesn't really do that much with it. And Jesus Christ, I mean that's the sort of moment when Swiatek thinks that she's hit a decent backhand down the middle, right? And Sabalenka just makes a couple of steps and blasts a huge forehand inside out. Jesus Christ. Generally, like if someone's saying that the WTA tour has never been weaker or something, and that if Ash Barty was there, she would be like winning 50 matches in a row. um I mean, she would still be a top player, I'm pretty sure, but maybe the word number one. But watch this match and tell me the WTA tour is weak right now. They are going for their forehands again, but this time it's Swiatek that makes the error. This was one of these very similar rallies, like a couple of games back, when they were just smashing the forehand, and each ball would just be stronger than the previous one. This time it's Swiatek who doesn't handle that first. Last time it was just Sabalenka eventually finding an insane winner. And yeah, the first serves from either player just haven't really been doing that much damage unless they're like placed on the line. Wow, another great work on the angles from Sabalenka. There's this famous Robbie Kennick quote, right? That I can't remember who it was about, but that he works. I think it was he. So he works the angles like a South American diamond cutter or something like that. Which South African. I think I said South American. Of course, I meant South Africa. which is just very much resonates with me sometimes. Because yeah, it's just legendary. And this is how Sabalenka has already done it a few times in this match. I guess this is something that you don't necessarily think of when you when you think Aryna Sabalenka's strengths and assets, but her technique is so good that she can do it all. And the other play and the player on the other side of the net isn't really weaker in that sense, of course. This huge forehand from Sabalenka misses the mark though. One more game point to get her to 3-all. Very funny reaction just after that miss. We saw a photographer. Maybe that's why they showed him to us, because he just could have maybe he just got a money shot of that Sabalenka of the face that she made after missing the ball. Now that's out, Swiatek, definitely. She calls for the umpire to confirm, but definitely not. So 3-all. It is absolutely insane so far. So um we are we are very lucky to witness this, and I guess this is in some way the universe repaying us for the semifinal day yesterday, which was just a big bummer with Sabalenka getting crushing Potapova, and Jabber having to retire after just 3 games. That was not exactly what we were hoping for with these two very exciting semis, but at least the final so far is really making up for it. That second serve, I think, was just in, and Swiatek approaches the net. That was interesting, but I guess she found herself in the no man's land or no woman's land in this case, and just had to make a choice. She made the right one, I suppose, because she gets the backhand passing shot error from Sabalenka. Now there's a huge forehand down the line from Swiatek, and it draws at an error as well. I thought that maybe the slice response from Sabalenka was going to be in, but it is just out. Oh, Jesus. Another just absurd strike from Sabalenka. It seems like she's not even in the right position, like to go for a shot like that, but she keeps hitting these insane winners down the line, and generally has been very, very brave about taking her opportunities so far. Of course, that's something that we are used to from her, but definitely not feeling any sort of pressure. Just absolutely no hesitation so far in terms of whether she will go for her shot or not. Like if she sees a ball that she likes, she just unleashes on it, and that's how you should play, I guess, when you're when you have the sort of assets of that Sabalenka has. And 30, although Świątek with a backhand unforced error, and we'll see how they handle this point, which has some pressure on both of players, I suppose. Big serve from Swiatek gives her the next point. Again, pretty much down the middle, flying really quickly at Sabalenka, which I think is um, which I think, yeah, it's going to be a pretty key direction for both players, probably with how close they are to the service line when returning. Maybe less so for Swiatek because yeah, Sabalenka just has a bigger first serve, but especially for Swiatek, I think it's such a good direction to go for here on her first serve, and another key backhand down the line winner, but this time it's from Swiatek. Amazing what they are hitting when basically on the run. She wasn't on the run per se, but moving. They're just not stopping. They're taking everything so early, and also, yeah, just there's just absolutely no hesitation in whether I should play this ball. Maybe some, in some somewhat safer. She just makes a few steps and blasts it right in the corner as well. And absolutely impossible to get to after the serve had set up that ball for her. Uh, so far, they are absolutely amazing. Yeah, 4-3 up. We still don't know. We still don't know much, frankly. I mean, we know that Sabalenka is going to be close to Swiatek today, but I guess we already knew that, right? I I didn't really pay that much attention to the fact that she won 4 games against her in Stuttgart and 3 in Rome because clearly they are sort of in a different spot right now. Maybe I would say Sabalenka is just much better. Swiatek, we'll see how she handles this clay season, but some very good signs early on for sure in Stuttgart. And yeah, Rome, Paris, I think these maybe will suit her even more. I'm assuming so. Big return from Swiatek coming in, but she messes up the forehand approach shot, and Sabalenka gets to start the next game from her from 15 love as well. Ace from Sabalenka gives her the next point too. So far cruising towards a hold, but of course that's still 30 love. So plenty of plenty of excitement still coming. Hopefully in this game. 182 kilometers an hour that serve. Another big one now, setting her up for a +1 forehand. That's gonna be not good enough to win the point. And yeah, that squash shot sort of defense, kind of moonbally as well from Świątek gives her the point eventually, as Sabalenka commits the forehand unforced error. This is the sort of drawing out errors that Świątek with her movement can definitely do to Sabalenka here, but she's not gonna get to everything, right? With the sort of power that the Belarusian hits with, sometimes it's just impossible to do. But here she manages to just make her play the extra ball. Another very good first serve return, despite staying so close to the baseline from Świątek. Oh wow! And she finds she manages to open up the court for herself, blasts a beautiful inside out forehand as well, and it's 30 all. So when I said that Sabalenka seems to be cruising towards the hold, I definitely wasn't right yet. Well, 4-3, there's some scoreboard pressure on Sabalenka, and suddenly it could get ugly, right? For the word number 2, if she just loses the next points, right? So beautiful forehand down the line though, and she should have the put away. Doesn't really put it away though. Has to smash, not super clean. Will she have to play another one? Yes, she does. And she nets it. Yeah, it seemed like, the way she was even setting up for that smash, it just seemed like she wasn't really thinking straight anymore after like barely making the previous one. Definitely some vulnerability there in that point, and Świątek with that with that insane scrambling has managed to set up a breakpoint. This could be rough for Sabalenka, as I said. I mean, suddenly, you're 3 points away from getting to 4-all, and then suddenly you're almost done if you lose this one. But she doesn't lose this one. The serve is gonna set her up for deuce. So still 2 points away, theoretically, from going down 3-5, which would be just very tough for her to get out of, it seems. But she blasts that huge serve, really good in a tough spot as well. And another good serve is no. I'm on Sabalenka's team here. I also thought that this was in, but apparently it's not. The chair umpire agrees. She is really disappointed and doesn't really get it, even arguing with the chair umpire. I also thought it was in initially, but from the mark that they showed, it seems like it was actually clearly out. But second serve anyway on deuce then. She has to stop thinking about how good it would have been if the serve landed in and just fire away with another one. Wow, and that's a huge return from Świątek down at Sabalenka's feet, and she easily finds the backhand inside out winner, or I would rather have to say she makes it look easy because it was far from that. Definitely far from that. And breakpoint number 2 in this game for Świątek. Let's see how she respond. Sorry for Świątek on the Sabalenka serve. Let's see how she responds this time. Oh, that's a net cord, but it actually gives Sabalenka the advantage. Initially, I thought maybe after seeing the ball bounce that maybe it was going to be one of these dead ones where Sabalenka would just be unable to get to where to get to from where she was, but eventually she actually cleans this up. So that face, if you just saw it, it was actually I'm also like watching something else on the other screen, and that was just an insane backhand down the line winner. Different technique to Sabalenka, but not only she hits insane backhands down the line, it seems. Double fault from Aryna Sabalenka though, so some of the issues with the second serve come back. Of course, this is the first one in the match, but it comes at a very crucial moment where it gives Świątek her third breakpoint. One of them so far has been saved with a big serve. The other one was a good rally with Świątek's net court giving Sabalenka the advantage back, but she still had to clean it up with a big backhand. What's going to happen now? Breakpoint number 3, and it's going to be on second serve, so she could be in trouble here. Yeah, that second serve was very tentative, and Świątek just takes full advantage. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that it was Sabalenka's second serve that lost her the match because, the game, but Świątek still had to hit some pretty incredible balls in this game. But yeah, deuce, Sabalenka double faults and now plays this super tentative second serve, which Świątek just finds her forehand return winner of. And now the Pole will be serving for the set. can Sabalenka cause any issues in this game? So far, she's just Swiatek was just moving the ball on a string in this game. In this point, sorry, absolutely easily just moving the Belarusian from one corner to another, and impressively takes this game. Takes this point. I keep saying point, game, match, set. Wrong. I don't know what's happening to to my brain. Maybe it's fried from too much tennis. Sabalenka gets a big return at Swiatek, but the opening that she created for herself with the forehand inside out, she doesn't take it. She nets the shot. So that's a fantastic angle from Sabalenka again on the return, but it's not. It's gonna be to no avail because she misses the backhand inside out. So 3 set points for Swiatek, and what we were talking about, with Sabalenka potentially being just 2 points away from losing the set, happened, and that was mostly on her second serve. But of course, that's not. My aim is not to. I don't aim to take any credit away from Swiatek because she has been absolutely insane so far as well, and in a way much cleaner than Sabalenka too. But of course, her playstyle isn't really that risk heavy. At least when she's playing players, facing players like Sabalenka, like Rybakina, Garcia, and etc. Then they are the ones risking a lot more. But yeah, she has been absolutely fantastic so far too. And all the pressure that she has managed to put on Sabalenka eventually paid off in that previous game. So 50 minutes on the clock, and Swiatek has 2 more set points. I think that serve was out after the net, so it's gonna be a second one. No way Sabalenka will not attack it, and they both know it. Interesting psychological battle, I guess, in that sense. And Sabalenka gets in control of the point, but makes another forehand unforced error. That game was definitely not the greatest one of the match from the Belarusian, so she is down a set, 3-6. And yeah, we'll see. Sometimes in Swiatek's matches, especially last year when she won an opening set like that, which seemed super competitive, she then won the next one, 6-2, 6-1, 6-love. Is Sabalenka too good for that? I guess we're gonna see, and especially mentally, we're gonna see what Sabalenka is gonna bring into the second set. Both players, I think, are getting off the court. We can see Mafi was earlier asking about the crowd, and we can see that there's plenty of people. Such a star-packed event in Stuttgart. Of course, some of that is just due to the calendar not having any other options for players to feature in this week, but that doesn't take anything away from the event, which definitely has been one of the more interesting ones on the WTA tour over the years. The poll is getting closer. Oh, so the poll is still up. Sabalenka and Swiatek could gobble up Barty's slice and dice. Potentially, yeah. Barty's game was definitely so effective because, well, so many players on the WTA tour are so one-dimensional. And I'm not, I don't call me a misogynist or something like that. Just don't. It's just what it is, right? I mean, they cannot really handle games like that, and that's why I don't know. Tatiana Maria makes the Wimbledon semis, right? That's why Tatiana Maria has such a good career, because if there's just one player like that, if there's just 5 players like that, of course Maria has a much more slice and dice game than Barty herself. Barty was more like, I don't know, Federer like, in the sense that she uses that slice to set up the big forehand after that. So that's another type of smart tennis, I guess. Um, but yeah, definitely there are a lot of players on the WTA tour who just completely lost their minds playing someone like Barty, and even someone like, yeah, Tatiana Maria, or I don't know who else is so weird. Actually, it's hard to find. I don't know, Maja Chwalinska or whatever. So it's actually hard to find a player like that on the WTA tour, and maybe that's the reason why it can also be so effective, right? So, but yeah, Sabalenka and Świątek definitely feel like they have both the technique and sort of tactical preparation to maybe handle it. Still, I mean, Barty was just far too good for in order to just keep falling behind them, right? I mean, still would have been a very, very exciting rivalry, and I guess it's a shame that we never got it. But if Barty is happier right now, if that sort of a life was tiring for her already in that by that moment when she retired, then that's good. That's good that she decided not to keep going, and yeah, all the best to her. We still have a few good years and memories of watching Barty, and definitely will be mentioning her for years to come, because this sort of game wasn't really seen on the WTA tour that much before, I would say. And it was unique enough that we are gonna keep mentioning it, just as an example of something in discussions, for sure. And also an example of early retirements. The players are back on the court, I think. At least Sabalenka is. The umpire is talking to someone on the walkie-talkie. Yeah, maybe it's just Sabalenka who's already back. Yeah, that's what it seems like. I think we're still waiting for Swiatek. And she is back, running into the arena just like she's running all over the court and like she was in the opening set. Not gonna mention the insane movement again, but I actually a couple of days ago I was at a party, and my friend is like a tennis enjoyer, like a casual fan, I would say. So he's watching most of Świątek for sure, Świątek's matches for sure, and we started watching Świątek Pliskova. A bit intoxicated, but good enough to sober enough to actually watch it and have some sort of a conversation about it. And yeah, we were talking a lot about her movement possibly being her best shot. In that, I know it's not a shot, but uh, but just being the best asset that she has, even though that forehand is quite a cheat code as well. But if I was to like take one take one thing away from her, I would probably say that the movement would make more impact. Well, I guess your movement also gives you the ability to go for your shots more, right? So that probably makes sense. And she starts the point from start the second set from an insane point. Just another deep return at Sabalenka's feet, and then instant finish, backhand inside out winner, which we've already seen a few times from Świątek here, and she just makes it look so easy. But this time Sabalenka is the one who makes it look extremely easy. Big serve and inside out +1 forehand winner. This is not necessarily even a short ball from Świątek, I would say. I think Świątek even thought that maybe she was going to make some damage with it, but we've already seen a few like these from Sabalenka too, where she just absolutely kills it. And yeah, even though the position is not that simple. This was just a short point for Sabalenka, one big serve, and she is 30-15 up. Definitely quite pivotal for her to take this game, right? If she doesn't, she would be in trouble right away, and that's not something she is going to want to have, especially after losing the last two matches with Świątek on clay quite comfortably, and yeah, just the sort of results that the Pole has been getting over the past, well, even over her career, right? On clay, you don't really want to fall behind the set and the break against her. It's usually not going to end well for you, and Sabalenka will be trying her best not to do that. And she has a game point not to, well, to do exactly that. Will she manage to take it on the second serve as well? Oh wow, that's Iga stepping. That's actually the first, I think, in this match. Running around her return to hit it off the forehand, and it pays off. It pays off. It gives her a short ball from Sabalenka. Definitely quite surprised by that movement from the Pole, who was usually just confident in taking her returns early off the backhand side, but this time she doesn't really choose to do it like that. She just goes for it on the forehand as well, and running around it, she manages to do that. But what will Sabalenka do now? Blasting some huge balls, but they just don't do any damage to Swiatek. And Swiatek eventually gets her on the run, and Sabalenka misses that forehand winner down the. I mean, forehand attempts to hit a winner down the line. And the breakpoint could really set Sabalenka behind here, and she commits another double fault. So again, we see that even if the second serve is generally an asset of hers right now, in some pressure moments, it just becomes a liability again, and that's what happened at the end of the opening set, and that's what happened right now. Yeah, and John says he closed the poll at 55-45 when Iga broke. Yeah, right now there's probably no need for a poll. Everyone thinks that Iga was winning, but the main thing is gonna be just how Sabalenka reacts to this mentally, right? She needs to try to keep herself going. I don't know if she will, because well, this game she just kind of looked down on herself, especially with another double fault. We see the stats of the opening set. Yeah, Sabalenka with double the winners of Swiatek, but also 18 unforced errors to 7. That's the sort of risk sort of breakdown that I mentioned when it comes to Swiatek playing against someone like that. That she is still blasting the ball. She is absolutely also hitting quite violently, but most of the time she's reacting to the opponent's pace, and she's just not that risk heavy in these sort of matchups. She's risk heavy against players where she just needs to dominate with the forehand, right? That's when she might commit too many errors and etc. Against someone like Azarenka, they usually aren't going to be unforced, but that doesn't mean she's not going for her shots or hitting with huge pace. Sabalenka forces out an error to make this game already quite interesting with 15 love. Well, love 15 or 15 down. Swiatek is setting up for the serve for quite a long time. Is that out? I think it is. So it's going to be a second one. So maybe Sabalenka can already have some sort of a look into into the serve of Swiatek here if she manages to find another big return, and we all know that she's gonna try. But that's actually a double fault from Swiatek now. So love 30 and well, 2 points in this game. It would be absolutely, of course, pivotal for the rest of the match as well, for like our enjoyment. For I think for Sabalenka to get this break or at least get the hold next, because well, we're just so used to Świątek winning matches on clay like this, right? When the first set has a few competitive games and then she just runs away with it completely. But maybe this one isn't going to be like that. Sabalenka was trying to create something of the backhand return, but misses it wide. So now it's going to be 15-30. But maybe she still has some sort of a look here. 15-30, second serve from Świątek. So there's nothing. Yeah, she definitely has a chance here if she can just find another big hit. That's a great kick serve from Świątek. It also seems like Sabalenka has moved back a little bit on second serve return. I don't know if that's actually a good choice, and definitely not a good choice against a kick serve like that. Beautiful forehand from Świątek, and it should set her up for a good for an easy drive volley. It wasn't that easy, but it's good enough to win the point for sure. So win the point and get to 30 all. Not yet out of, let's say, danger zone, but she has definitely gotten close to getting out of the danger zone. Huge return from Sabalenka gives her the advantage in the point, but again, Świątek is in position so early, gets a huge backhand down the middle, landing on the line, and then just cleans up the winner. I mean, she is just flying right now. Gonna be very hard for Sabalenka to stay in this match if Świątek is playing like this, frankly. But and again, like when she has when she manages to defend something, get that movement on the slide right, and then finds an opening, she's just so clinical about taking it. So much more clinical than Sabalenka has been, and you can really see it a lot of times here in this match. And this return is just too short, and for Świątek easily takes that forehand +1 winner. So 2-love up. Is the match running away from Sabalenka? I don't know if the match is, but Świątek definitely seems to be. Is that in? Oh Jesus! I mean, Świątek seems like she just can't really put a foot wrong right now. I mean, that's a pretty insane angle as well. suddenly it's becoming very very hard for Sabalenka to even find ways to win points. And suddenly she's in big trouble. But of course, nothing is really lost yet. It's still clay. It's still well, Swiatek is still not the biggest server in the world, so this hold definitely seems quite crucial to Sabalenka, because if she falls back 0-3 with a double break, it's gonna be quite hard for us to see any sort of chance to get back for into the match. But this time she plays with a bit more margin, survives the rally, and it's Swiatek who nets the backhand. So again, very very crucial game for Sabalenka if she wants to still survive and have a shot at that Stuttgart title. But again, deep, very deep return at the middle and just cleans up the +1 winner. I guess that's some very smart return, very smart returning from Sabalenka. Sorry, Świątek. She doesn't really go for any angles. She just goes at Sabalenka's feet and cleans up the easy responses that she has been getting. And it's not really Sabalenka's fault that these responses have been pretty weak, right? That's not the case. That's actually the fact that they're so deep that Świątek just gets a put away out of that. And Sabalenka kind of looks lost mentally now, and Świątek is gonna have a break points to go. And Sabalenka is in control, and wow, that's a beautiful backhand winner down the line. I mean, her body language is very negative right now. She is definitely losing it a bit in that sense, but she still managed to keep herself steady and just take that backhand down the line, which was far from easy. But again, she's just so good that she kind of made it. So and Sabalenka cleans up. Well, hits a huge serve, manages to get to advantage. So well, she still had to win this point in two shots, right? I mean, she had to find a decent forehand approach shot and then a smash, but it was much easier than the smashes that she struggled with in that 3-4 game in the opening set. Again, not liking the call, I think, but we'll see if. But we'll see if she can this time keep her head in the game and not fire another double fault. She didn't. But Świątek is again so early to pressure her on the return. I was talking about Sabalenka's second serve being one of the best in the game, right, earlier, and I know that kind of doesn't look like that right now. But again, that's just how sometimes it can look when it comes to the crunch. That's just how sometimes Sabalenka cannot really handle it when there's pressure, because she still has some sort of trauma, right, around it. You're gonna have some sort of trauma with your second serve if you once were hitting 20 per match. And yeah, from such a good one, from one of the best in the game, it can sometimes just lead to actually losing her matches. So we'll see if that remains the case here, as of course she gave both breaks so far away on double. I mean, at 3-4 in the first, it was a double fault on use, but also a very tentative second serve and breakpoint. And in this set, it was a double fault and breakpoint. And yeah, here we see another one. So Deuce Sabalenka, as we mentioned earlier, just really needs this game to get herself going, and we'll see if that is possible. Should have this point, absolutely. Cleans up the +1 forehand winner. And that's exactly what she does here. So and this big serve actually gives her the win in this game. So it's 2-1, and she keeps herself in this match. Definitely good for the show, good for the fans. We'll see if this is going to turn into anything, or if this is just a swan song from Sabalenka here. I feel like every single time I get to commentate on a final on this channel, it's usually so disappointing. So far, it hasn't been in terms of the quality, but if Swiatek was to, I don't know, reel off 4 games from here, we'd still say it was disappointing, right? I was doing Alcaraz Medvedev, for example, at Indian Wells. So Sinner Medvedev, I think maybe even in Miami as well. So they've been matches that had a lot of premise for sure, and yeah, neither of them was really as good as I thought it would be. And so far, this again, quality wise, amazing. But I'm just afraid that it's going to be a bit lopsided from here, especially because of how. Especially because of how Sabalenka has been reacting to things recently. She's just kind of um, just has negative body language, and that doesn't mean she's not playing well. Again, she had, for example, on the breakpoint here, right? She fired that beautiful backhand, which really required a lot of composure. So maybe it's not going to impact her like that. But I guess we've just seen the movie so many times with Świątek on clay, right? Second set, just running away with it completely. So I'm just hoping that this is not going to be another one of them, and that this is going to be just another good, just a better final than the previous one. Than a better match than most of these previous ones that I mentioned. Is that return in from Sabalenka? I think it is. Again, Świątek thinking that this was going to fly out, but again, Świątek thinking that this was going to fly out, but it actually didn't. So yeah, that second serve from Świątek is just far too weak as well. That's more or less the equivalent of what Sabalenka did in that 3-4 game at breakpoint. Just Sabalenka had to take it and had to kill it. There was literally no other option here. So love 30, and the opportunity sort of arises for Sabalenka to maybe already try to fight for that break. But I think in the previous Świątek service game, it was also love 30, right? So yeah, definitely not won yet, but she will be trying to do better than last time with this 30 love 30 advantage. Not gonna do it like that though, but just a couple of insane forehands from Swiatek. The thing that I always sort of just yeah, really gets me thinking with her forehand, and I guess it works with a lot of other very spinny ones, like I don't know, Casper Ruud, Jack Sock, or something like that, is just how safe they also are, right? While being insane weapons because of the amount of spin involved, and that's why I think like an hour ago I said that to me it's just a massive cheat code as well, just like her movement. And Sabalenka again has that love 30 opening, gets to a forehand that she should be taking and should be just crushing, and nets it, middle of the net. Very disappointed with herself. And we'll see if that sort of mindset is just going to be an issue for her or not in the next couple of games, the next couple of games minutes. But that's just perfectly played out from Sabalenka. Another good forehand angle cross court, and then just comes in and finishes it up. Not going for too much, just very yeah, just doing exactly yeah, not giving herself that much margin of error on the ball on the first balls, but when she actually got to the one that should finish the rally that Swiatek had no chance to get to, she actually played it a little safer, and that's exactly what you would want, I think. And 30-40 now. So breakpoint back for Sabalenka, a chance to keep this match competitive and a chance to keep herself in it. Just misses that return though, trying to go for the Świątek down the middle return to generate to generate herself a short ball, create an opening, but just misses it. So we're at deuce now. Yeah, but she doesn't really move the legs enough on this point. If she made just one more 2 steps forward, perhaps she would have been in a better position to hit this backhand, but she doesn't. And Świątek has a game point to get to 3-1 up. Advantage Świątek. Sabalenka gets in control of the rally, but Świątek just plays with Sabalenka's pace so well, and eventually gives a chance to Sabalenka. Gives Sabalenka a chance to miss. Let's say trying to go for too much on the forehand down the line, and 3-1. Another game where Sabalenka was very very close to breaking back. So this 3-1, it's kind of misleading so far. It's not like Sabalenka is it's not like Sabalenka is in that much trouble so far. But she is definitely. I mean, free. It's still 3-1. She has been close to winning these games, but she isn't winning them. So that's basically the bottom line, right? The most important thing is to win games, not to come close to winning them. And in both Świątek service games so far in this second set, she's been 30 love up. Oh wow, that's a pretty wild miss on the +1 backhand. But I guess the return from Swiatek was also coming back. It was pretty pacey. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I just had to do something very quickly. Another unforced error from Sabalenka, and she's 15-30 down now in her service game. So very very tight games definitely in this set so far. But the problem for Sabalenka is that they've all been going in Świątek's way. So big backhand down the line. Just reading a tweet from someone on Twitter. Again, I don't know if he would like me mentioning it, but so I'm not gonna say who, but it's about this being fast indoor clay and Sabalenka only making it competitive for 20 minutes. Imagine Rome around Garros. Iga moves too well for Sabalenka Rybakina on this surface. Ons is too soft mentally in big matches, and Pik Krejcikova remains Iga's main threat in the clay season. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, I think there are some basically, to me, there are some truths in this for sure, but there are also some things that I wouldn't really agree with. But definitely the quality of Iga's movement for Rybakina, especially on clay, I think it could be way too much. I don't think Sabalenka could only make it competitive for 20 minutes, though. I think this has been a lot more competitive than the scoreline so far. Sabalenka had just missed a lot of chances in this set. What the hell is going on? This topspin forehand that Swiatek hit was insane, and that's what I was talking about with her forehand still being pretty safe while having such huge power. I have no clue how she made this in, but it's deuce. So I don't think that Sabalenka has only made it competitive for 20 minutes. But yeah, Krejcikova could very well be the best shot the tour has at Swiatek this year. I would agree with that. Hey, Ghosty. The starts aren't too terribly in favor of Iga. Yeah, they aren't because the games have been competitive. In this set, there has been two low 30s on Swiatek's serve. She just hasn't won either of these games, Sabalenka. And in the opener was super tight until 3-4, and then she just double faulted at deuce, and then gave Swiatek a very tentative second serve that she just blasted for a winner. So yeah, so I mean, I would actually say that it has been really close, and that's why the stats don't look that lopsided, as Sabalenka just takes the 2-3 game. Um, yeah, there's some talk about the ATP Weekly. Looks like Mario won't be here today, but I'll have a separate and I'll have a guest host with me. So feel invited, guys. Of course, there's also going to be the WTA Weekly show from Nick. And Ghosty also says that Rune won the first set over Botic. I haven't actually checked the scores, frankly. Lajovic is also 4-2 up on Rublev. Well, that's quite interesting. And Rune took the first set 6-4, as Ghosty said. Well, looks like it was pretty competitive as well, though. If Iga closes here, Pliskova will be the only competitor to take a set from her the whole tournament. Yeah, and I mean she's also the only player to take her to 3 sets this year. Every other single Iga win was in 2, and of course she also lost 4 times, but also lost in 2 every single much. So quite an interesting storyline there for sure. We'll see if that continues over the course of the year. But definitely, the match doesn't seem done yet. It's just a question of like, hasn't Sabalenka missed too many chances to get back into this already in the second set? I don't know. And even if we're saying that Swiatek's games have been more competitive than it seems, Sabalenka's have also been. So no, it's not a given that even if she breaks, she's gonna hold, right? Um, but yeah, that's what I didn't disagree with, like about that tweet that I mentioned earlier. The thing that I didn't really disagree with, sorry, the thing that I didn't really agree with was that I don't think that Świątek, I don't think that Sabalenka has only kept it competitive in 20 minutes, for 20 minutes, sorry. I think that she is just she has been keeping it competitive until now. Just basically played some pressure points wrong, and that's really what we've been seeing. Yeah, again, very weak second serve from Świątek. We've mentioned her serve kind of improving this year. I'm not sure it really factors in the second serve because this one again was just a straight up winner for Sabalenka, and there's really nothing else she could have done. Whether she played it down the line, whether she played it cross court, it still would have been a winner. There was a second serve like this a couple of games ago as well. So it definitely still happens to Świątek, especially on the second serve. And it's gonna be a love 30 again, right? No, that's in? Really? It's actually in? Wow. Wow. Never would have guessed that that was in, but it's not gonna be love 30. We don't see another love 30 in that game. It's actually 15 all. Yeah, sorry. Got distracted. Setting up the ATP Weekly show. Anyway, 30-15 up. So this time Sabalenka hasn't created an opportunity for herself to break Świątek again, and it looks like she won't, as this forehand cross court also sails a bit wide, and I think it was actually both wide and long. So I guess I didn't say anything wrong there, but. But I also wasn't precise, I suppose. 40-15, Świątek. Will this be an easy hold? Will this be the first easy hold of the match for the Pole? Sorry, of the match, of the set, of course. And it will be. Great angle on that first serve. Nothing that Sabalenka really could have done. Uh, some people are messaging me, but I will get back to them after this match is over, I think. Especially as, there's actually a bit of a chance. Would Lajovic winning that title be wild? Beating Rublev and Djokovic, getting two top 10 wins, I think we could count it, right? How many top 10 wins does Dusan Lajovic even have over his career? Uh, I have to check it. Off the top of my head, I would say like two or three, probably, right? Like, he's not the kind of. Okay, actually, quite a lot. I mean, seven, so a little more. Del Potro, Dimitrov, Nishikori, Team, Medvedev, and Rude. Oh, that Medvedev one I should have remembered, but it's actually quite a lot, I think. I remember checking that like someone like Filip Krajinovic, for example, had a much weaker record against the top 10, which is quite interesting because we usually think of Krajinovic as this sort of underused, underrated talent, right? And Lajovic doesn't really get the same praise, I think. But yeah, beating two top 10 players in one event and winning it would be absolutely absurd for Lajovic, I think. And especially given the fact that he only has one ATP title, right? Umag, and it was so much weaker. He beat Attila Balash in the final, which I don't remember who he played along the way, but it was something like that. I think he also beat Rublev in that tournament actually, but 2019 version of Rublev yet before the summer, it wasn't really the same thing. So Attila Balash Rublev, yeah, this would be by far the best week of his career. I think, even taking that Monte Carlo run into consideration, just because of the fact that he beat both Djokovic and Rublev in one event. I know it's a 250. 1000 final is undeniably the best result he had, but I think it would be like the best level he presented, best sort of. Sabalenka is ruining Ghosties Sunday morning. Were you just expecting to a closer match, or are you just want to did you just want to Sabalenka to win? I didn't really care, who would win, but definitely expected more of a closer match. Still, it has been close. She's just not winning games, I would say. And 30 all. Świątek with some crazy reaction after this slide and then the backhand down the line. I would have thought Rublev was the favorite, yes, especially after Djokovic went out. Yeah, I mean, of course, Rublev was the favorite in Banja Luka. Lajovic is now serving for the first set. Sabalenka will get this point with a big serve, though. So again, trying to keep herself in this match. Feels like this game is very, very crucial. And she will still be one break away from tying it, potentially. Fifth ace from... What's the music? Should I keep talking while it's playing? I don't know. 500 more subscribers? Probably not gonna happen in half a minute. I should keep talking, yes. We had an unexpected cameo in the stream, it seems. 4-3 up, Świątek, 44 minutes in this set, so that also gives you kind of the idea that it has been more competitive than it seems. So 6-3, 4-3 still needs to find that one break. Actually, she hasn't broken Świątek, right? Which is pretty surprising with just the amount of close games that have been on Iga's serve. 16 points so far dropped by Świątek in this set. In this match. She held to 15, then deuce, 30, 15, 30, deuce, 15. Yeah, so like half the games went to deuce, I suppose. But actually, it was just one breakpoint for Sabalenka, so there was just a lot of these love 30 openings that nothing really arose from them. Lajovic is beating Rublev, which maybe Dusan Lajovic will be the one who stops the dream of 4 defending champions in 1 week, right? Which has been a big story because I suppose it just never happened, right? Yeah, 4-3 up. Let's see how if Sabalenka can create another chance for himself. Thanks, John. I just like Sabalenka so much, says Ghosty. Okay, she's a basher and I dig her personality. Brassy Broad. Interesting. Yeah. So your idea of good fun here was Sabalenka winning. Okay. That's what I was asking about. Hopefully you can still get something out of this match then. And I think even if even if it finishes 6-3, 6-3, it's still been a good ride. You just sort of wish it was more competitive in terms of the scoreline, because in terms of the games, I mean, it's been and definitely a good sign for Świątek, coming into the clay season. the fact that in on this fast indoor clay, slick court, she is able to do this to Sabalenka, because if that's how the match looks in Stuttgart, it probably looks better in Rome or Paris, right? Maybe Iga Swiatek can equal Rafa Nadal's 13 Roland Garros record or something like that. Because that's kind of what it seems, that she could be so dominant. But it would be much tougher to do it in the best of three format, right? So maybe not. But frankly, how many matches would Nadal have lost if it wasn't best of five, right? Not many of them, definitely not. Um, the Isner one, I guess, and the French, but, and also there was a Djokovic one, right? So maybe it actually wouldn't have changed much for the Spaniard. Doesn't he have 13? He has 14 already? Oh, Jesus. I keep forgetting about this then. He really has 14? No. No, you're kidding me. He really does? Jesus. I mean, I could just count it, but I'm too lazy to do that, right? I think I am too lazy. It is 14, really? Oh, wow. You see. Um, Rafa's weakest title? You mean at Roland Garros? See, 2005 when he beat Federer, does that count? Because I think it was pretty weak. But yeah, as you said, I think you meant Roger or right. You meant Roger or Rafa. Jesus. Um, hmm. So I don't know 2005. I think 2005 was pretty weak simply outside of the Federer win. Especially playing Puerta in the final and Ferrer, was it in the quarters, right? But then he was always beating Federer. Then he was maybe 2010, right? Was the one when he beat Soderling in the final, didn't play Djokovic or Federer. And I guess that would have to be your answer. I don't know. There's also, well, there has to be one more time when he didn't beat um, Djokovic or Federer, right? 2000, no, two more times, 2017 and 18. And I guess that would be like the biggest candidates, I suppose. I think in 2017 especially, he was just crushing everyone and no one really gave him a challenge. Team wasn't really that close yet. He was close in that 2019 for the final for the first two sets, but 2017 not yet. And Stan didn't give him a challenge in the final. But again, I'm not really sure if that's like the fault of the opponents or if Nadal was just far too good. So 2017 he just totally crushed everyone, and that kind of makes me think of this run. Um, 2010, I guess you could also argue with like getting Meltzer in the semis, right? That's but anyway, for 3-40-30 for Swiatek, and Sabalenka commits a forehand error on the move, and it's 5-3 now, and we are slowly, and even not that slowly, coming close. Rud is his weakest, says Ghosty, but yeah, he beat Djokovic along the way, I suppose, right? Yeah, his first one at 19, I guess that kind of adds difficulty and gravitas. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, the weakest final is definitely the one against Ruud. Honestly, it's like the weakest Grand Slam final I've seen, I think. But in terms of the whole run, not necessarily, right? The whole run was probably a bit better in 2022 than, I don't know, 2017 or 2010. Had to beat Zverev, Zverev, he kind of never beat, right? But still, had to play him, had to play Felix, Djokovic. I don't know. Most of them have been rather impressive. Some of them have been just so easy, but that's because he made them so, right? That's not really because the opposition was just giving him the wins. That's because they couldn't touch him. 15-0. 1 hour 42 minutes, and we are currently 3 points away from Sabalenka losing the match. She will try to keep this competitive. Wow, that's another insane shot down the line out of position. But she misses the next one. She misses the much more routine forehand, much more usual in terms of the positioning. So now just 2 points away, 15-30 on the Sabalenka serve, and we might have Iga Swiatek as the Stuttgart champion yet again in just a couple of minutes. And Botic van de Zandschulp is actually closing in on the second set against Rune. So maybe it's not going to be just one defending champion losing, maybe it's going to be a few of them. That's a great point from Sabalenka. Goes to the net. Wasn't really that clean with the volley, but it landed very deep and then just smashes it easily. She also has to apologize to some people in the crowd because I think she hit someone, of course not intentionally, and of course it's not a cause for any warnings because she was just smashing the ball normally, into play. So let's see what she does with this 30-all serve. Just out, it seems. So maybe the second serve does it hold up this time? Does it break down like it did a few times already in this? That's a nice counter. Świątek did not expect that direction from Sabalenka. Definitely thought that was going to be another one forehand down the line, but Sabalenka just repeats her choice and gets the point. Now gets a chance to secure the next game and put some pressure on Świątek, who would have to serve it out to win. That's out though, so she's gonna have to win another point on second serve. And Świątek throws out a second serve return long. So we're gonna have 6-3, 5-4. Świątek to serve. Not much really that you could say about the last few games. They have still been very competitive, but Sabalenka just cannot make up for that break she lost at the beginning of this set. And Świątek has a chance to clean this up. Świątek has a chance to triumph in Stuttgart again. I believe she hasn't lost in Stuttgart, right? Because 2022 was her only edition, I think. So that would make her 8-0 right now in Stuttgart if she wins against Sabalenka. She beat Eva Liz, Emma Raducanu, Ludmila Samsonova, and Aryna Sabalenka last time. And this year, of course, Kim Wężenk, Karolina Pliszkova, and Ons Jabeur in some very weird circumstances, in a short match, but still. Sabalenka also has an excellent Stuttgart record, naturally, making the final for the third straight time, but she might just lose it for the third straight time as well. She still hasn't broken Świątek. She only created one break point actually, so has to step up very quickly if she is to survive in this match and if she is to have a shot at turning it around. Botic van de Zandschulp in the meantime is 5-1 up on Holger Rune in the second set, so he's actually going to force the third set, it seems, and Rublev has broken in the second, so maybe steadying the ship, but we'll see. And serving for the championship is the subtitle that we see on the screen right now, and that's exactly true. If Świątek holds, she's gonna have the title in her hands in like 20 minutes during the trophy ceremony. That serve is out though, so she's gonna have to start the game with the second one. Will Sabalenka have some sort of a chance in this game? Not if she gets herself out of position so early. Yeah. She tried to step into the backhand return, but it just wasn't big enough. And Świątek quickly takes advantage of Sabalenka's movement not being quite as sharp as the poles naturally. And yeah, just cleans up the backhand winner cross court. They're showing us the car right now, the Porsche, sitting behind Świątek, and she already might be thinking of it. 3 points away and on serve. Phew. Some absurd angles from Sabalenka as well, but Świątek just gets to it all and eventually forces the Belarusian to overcommit. So 5-4 Love. 2 points away from the title. And by now, very, very likely to get it, of course. 1 hour 48 minutes, so quite competitive, quite tight for a 6-3-6 match, if that's how it ends. We'll see. Barely making it before the shot clock, but she fires a decent serve, and Sabalenka goes for a big return down the middle and misses it. Love, 3 match points, 3 championship points for another Stuttgart title, 13th WTA Tour title of her career, I think, which might sound kind of low to you, given how dominant Świątek has been. But that's mostly because, well, she has never won a WTA 250. She just hasn't been playing them at all. She is just all about that big titles, these big titles. And looking at the what the Ostrava tournament director sort of told us a couple of days ago, right? She might never play a WTA 250. I mean, she never win, because she played, and she even was in the final, losing to Polona Hercog, I think. This return from Sabalenka is much better, but Świątek survives, and Sabalenka will not even attempt to run for that backhand. So yeah, 6-3, 6-4. Iga Swiatek, 13th WTA title, second in Stuttgart, second year in a row. Queen of Clay comes back to rule, to reign again. Now Madrid, of course. A few days ago, the Świątek team and Świątek confirmed that she was going to play Madrid, which last year she didn't after winning in Stuttgart. But that the circumstances were much different. Of course, she was coming off winning Doha, Indian Wells, Miami in a row, right? So there was, and also a couple of Billie Jean King Cup matches. So there was just a lot of playtime on her. There was a lot of mental and physical tear. Right now, there's not. So she's probably going to play both Madrid and Rome, I'm assuming, especially as Rome is just a better warm up, right? And now they're also 1.5 weeks. So I guess they're not going to be as tiring in that sense, too. And yeah, now we can enjoy Iga Swiatek enjoying her title. And yeah, there's going to be a trophy ceremony soon, but of course, we're not going to really commentate on it. I don't think there's any sense in doing that. When are we finishing, John? Are we going to finish in like a minute or two? Am I supposed to talk more? What else? We had the match between the best two players in the world probably right now, and one proved pretty superior over the other. Again, I will sort of die on this hill, and I will keep saying that it was more competitive than it seems. But still, Świątek had the clear edge, and especially the fact that Sabalenka generated just one break point. I think that's what she kind of failed at here, especially with how many low 30 opportunities she had, and yeah, the fact that nothing really arose out of them, and especially with how she was returning, because she actually hit us a lot of good returns, and she just never really created that much on the Świątek serve. Her second serve broke down a few times as well, but she played a pretty smart match, Sabalenka, I think. So in that sense, not much that she could have really done. A lot of good play on the angles, taking her down the line opportunities all the time, just like she's used to. So it's just really a matter of Świątek being a bit too good, especially movement wise, of course. That's what she has over all of these girls on clay, and I'm less sanguine about Krejcikova's chances at the French. And also, will Iga surpass 37 this year? Was a question from Ghosty. Pretty hard, right? I mean, 4 matches here, 6 in Madrid, 6 in Rome, 7 at the French. That's 23. And then you have to win 14 matches on grass and then hard courts. So that's not gonna happen. I don't think so. If she goes unbeaten on clay, no one would probably be that surprised, right? I'm assuming, but we'll see. Oh, we have 3 people on the ATP Weekly show. That's gonna go for like 2 hours, but I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. That also means I will see you here right after the Barcelona final. So we're not saying goodbye for a long time. We're only saying goodbye for a couple of hours, and yeah, we will be back with you very shortly. I'm not sure when the WTA review is, but you're also gonna get it. Is it like very soon? I'm assuming that might be right. Yeah, thanks to you guys as well. Thanks to everyone who commented and watched. No, actually, the WTA 12 24 hours. So it's not fixed yet, but it's gonna be there. You're gonna watch it 100%. All of you are gonna watch it. All of you are gonna watch the ATP Weekly show. And yeah, thanks guys. See you later.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.